For millennials and those who come after that, pensions are likely just going to be an idea of the past that they hear people talk about. Companies are already having trouble paying people who are owed that money, much less offering it to anyone entering the workforce. But for those who spent decades and decades showing up to work and paying into that account that now just doesn't exist, they're not worried about what happens down the line. They need help right now. Will they get it? That's the question. Alex Miller joins us now. These companies have failed employees in many ways, right? So now it's going to be the government possibly helping out, but some people don't like that idea either.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about people who have worked for the same companies for like 30 years now, which is unheard of in this day and age. They paid into their pension only to find out now that money is gone and the companies aren't being forced to help.
Losing half my pension or any portion of the pension is really going to put me in dire straits because I won't be able to afford to take care of myself.
Cindy Grimley is just one of nearly 11 million people facing pension loss. The company she worked for just can't pay the money they promised. Grimley spent years paying into a pension system instead of taking home that extra cash. Now that she needs the money, it's not there.
I've had medical problems that have arisen these last few years, and I've literally refused to take medicine because it costs $500 a month. I can't afford it.
Democrats in Congress are working on legislation that would lift the financial burden of the companies failing to help their former employees.
We have to have a pension security system that workers can believe in, that if they pay in, when their day comes to retire, they get their money. It's a big problem. The hole is very deep. You're talking about billions of dollars.
The bill would set up an agency within the Treasury Department that would give loans to companies who need to pay their employees.
Troubled plans would be able to renegotiate a loan with Treasury that they would pay back over 3 decades. So it gives the market a chance to work.
But Rachel Gressler of the Heritage Foundation says it's not the government's responsibility to fix the mess. It's the companies.
It's not just a slippery slope for private companies, it's also a slippery slope for state and local governments and even the federal government. So if we see that the federal government will step in and bail out whether it's 1 or 100 private union-run multi-employer plans and pay the pensions that they didn't put the funds there for, then why won't every other employer just start saying, I'm going to offer a defined benefit pension. I'm not going to fund the one that I currently have.
Captor says while that is a possible outcome, workers shouldn't be responsible for their employer's wrongdoing.
A lot of these private companies went purposefully bankrupt so they could walk away from their responsibilities. I wish that we could find all those executives. I wish that we could hold them accountable.
And for now, there are only Democrats supporting the bill in the Senate and only 1 Republican in the House. Those suffering say members need to reach across the aisle and help them fast.
You got to remember, we're not just Democrats. There's Democrats, Republicans, truckers aren't just Democrats. We've got both parties involved.
Alex, to see Ernest and Cindy talking about, can I afford my medicine? You know, when you're talking about, can I buy groceries or cutting my pills in half, that is so sad because they showed up every single day to these jobs.
The reality is they paid this money, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like just money that the companies were telling them that they would get. They took a portion out of their paycheck to pay into their pensions.
Okay, so let's get to the more, I guess, away from the ethical and more to the policy. Is that, does it make sense for companies to have pensions anymore? Because they don't seem as common.
Right. They definitely are not as common as they were when the generation before they set them up for this program up for themselves. Now you're starting to see companies walk away from that. Congresswoman Captor is still very supportive of pensions, but she said you kind of have to do it in a smart way and pay attention to your personal savings as well. The expert that I spoke with is not in favor of pensions, and she thinks that a company is having too much liability through these pensions programs, and that instead they should set up accounts for their people and contribute a specific amount of dollars. Say you're getting X amount of dollars this year, and then that way the company is not liable, but also people can start to budget and say, I really do have this real set sum of money to use in my retirement.
It's just sad, I think, because you see all these loyalty programs out there all the time to buy. You'd love to see more loyalty between the employer and the employee.
It's just not that way anymore.
Yeah. Alex, thank you.